Hello and welcome back to another video. Today here again on Gran Turismo 7 to take a look at the first of the brand new cars from the most recent update, which is this Porsche 918 Spyder. Now I'm sure this car doesn't need much introducing for most of you. It is of course one of the holy trinity of hypercars and Porsche's answer therefore to the LaFerrari and McLaren P1, the P1 actually being my favourite of the three, but anyway. So, the 918 Spyder has a 4.6-litre V8 engine, developing 559 horsepower, paired with two electric motors, of course it being a hybrid, for a combined output of 875 horsepower, although in Gran Turismo it has one less than that for some reason. Anyway, that gives it a performance point rating of 664.21 here in-game. It's been produced from 2013 to 2015, making it nearly 10 years old at this point, which is pretty hard to believe. So it is quite an old car now, and I have driven it in many games, but did want to give it a go here in Gran Turismo, as it is brand new to this series, and back when this thing came out in reality, Need for Speed still had the exclusive Porsche licensing, so Porsches were only in Need for Speed games, meaning this wasn't actually in all that many games at the time. Of course now it's been in Forza and loads of other things. As you may already know, the 918 took the Nürburgring record at the time by over 14 seconds and was the first production car to lap this track in under 7 minutes. Porsche also offered it with a Weissach package, which included magnesium wheels, an extended diffuser, an Alcantara interior and extra carbon fibre bits, which cost an additional £70,000 on top of the £600,000 price tag of the base model of the car, which was actually quite good value at the time, making it the cheapest of the three by far, with the P1 I believe costing £800,000 and the Ferrari, because Ferrari, costing £1 million for some reason. So you could get this for nearly half the price of a LaFerrari, which wasn't really talked about too much at the time. Anyway, here in Gran Turismo it costs 1.6 million, which sounds like a lot, but given Gran Turismo's economy, it isn't all that bad really. So yeah, but none of the cars from this update are actually all that expensive. The other two cars, the Silhouette Skyline and the Maserati, the Skyline is only 1.15 million and the Maserati is 2.9 million, making it the most expensive. But given some of the prices of cars in updates in the past, it's not all that bad really. It's available in a variety of mostly very boring colours. There's a white, many silvers, a grey, a black, and, well, three quite nice bright colours here and a darker blue, if you're looking for something a little bit more subtle. I went for the yellow on mine, which looks very good, but I think clashes a bit with the lime green bits. So one of the reasons I wanted to test the 918 out here on Gran Turismo is not only because it's new to this series, but also because of the amazing levels of customization Gran Turismo now has. Not only can you wide body everything, which I've done with this, but you can also pick from a variety of real-life manufacturer colours. I like to try and pick a nice colour from the back catalogue of whichever manufacturer we're looking at. In this case, I've gone for Porsche's famous Ruby Star Red, or Ruby Stone Red, depending on which part of the world you're from, which is this magenta-y, pinky red sort of colour, which whenever I'm given the opportunity to put on a Porsche, I do, and I think it looks rather good on the 918, actually, especially with those black wheels. I was kind of unsure whether to go black or silver on those. But as well as the wide body and the paint colour, I've gone for an extended front splitter, some carbon side skirts, and some sort of carbon fins on the back, which you can probably see in this shot here. So I've gone for all of those along with the colour and the wide body, and overall I think it looks rather good. The colour actually looks surprisingly good against the lime green, wasn't necessarily expecting that to work. I'm also quite pleased with the wheels, because here in Gran Turismo, when you wide body a car, you have to fit some custom wheels to bring the track width out, but I think I've found the very BBS set of wheels that Porsche actually used on this car from factory. So although they are black and offset to a wider width, I think they at least look like they are the same wheel design. As for upgrades, there's not a lot you can do. It is on Sports Medium from Standard, which is maybe why it didn't grip quite as well as I had hoped when I was driving it around the Nordschleife there. But yeah, there's really not that many options until you start getting into semi-racing. You can't turbocharge or supercharge or anything. I have fitted a racing crankshaft and fully customizable computer. I've actually done most of the available upgrades apart from weight reduction because I don't like doing that on a road car. I like to kind of imagine it's still a usable car with an interior, for example. I know it doesn't matter, it's a game, but that's one of the things I generally like to try and do. So I've gone for the racing air filter, racing silencer, and racing exhaust manifold, and to balance that extra power, some racing brakes and racing discs. I've also gone for a racing clutch and flywheel, fully customizable transmission so we can change the gears a bit, because in the end on Gran Turismo you're going to be driving on tracks, so you probably want to shorten them a bit. And I've gone for racing mediums to replace those, what do you call them, sports mediums that we started with. As for extreme, I've not done any of these because none of them really do all that much unless you're going drifting or you want to paint your calipers. So, after all of the upgrades had been applied, the Porsche was sitting at 736.8 performance points, meaning it wasn't eligible for any races that looked all that interesting. So instead I brought it to the Tokyo Expressway just to give it a bit of a shakedown with its new upgrades. Of course, got the wide body, tyres and brakes, meaning it'll handle better, as well as some upgraded power. Now the first thing I noticed braking into that first corner there was the size of the flames it was spitting out of the exhausts now that we've swapped them for racing exhausts. As they're not all that visible from the replay cameras, let's get a bit of chase cam so you can see what I'm talking about. This is absolutely mad. Now coming into this, I didn't actually think I would like this car all that much. I mean, I knew what the 918 was like. I've driven it in lots of games and didn't think it would be that much different in Gran Turismo, or didn't think I'd like it that much more in Gran Turismo. But I'm absolutely loving this thing. I don't know if it's just... I think it must just be a combination of, well, Gran Turismo drives better than a lot of games I've driven this in, and the fact you can customize it, so you've got the wide body, you've got the real-life paint colours, which is a feature I still absolutely love being able to use, and the exhausts are pretty mad when you upgrade them on here. They're even more insane with cars that you can put anti-lag on. But yeah, I think it's just the whole package, because usually you either have customization, or a game that handles well, or a good upgrade system. You very rarely get all of those in a game. You may have guessed I quite like Gran Turismo 7 when it's working. It's not been that great recently. But yeah, I did really love driving this thing around here. I think we're getting to the corner where it had the best flames here. So after I had got very excited about the flames spitting out of the exhaust, I decided to go and, well, push it a bit harder to see how it felt, and it does feel a lot better than it did from standard. Just having that much more grip, I don't think necessarily the extra power helped all that much. It really didn't need it, let's be honest. I think if I'd just done wide body tyres and brakes, it would have been enough, really. But yeah, this thing was a lot of fun to throw around the Tokyo Expressway, which is saying something, because usually I don't like this track. I find it kind of too tight and technical. Maybe that's just for racing, kind of driving it at 90% in free roam rather than trying to push for a super fast lap time. I think maybe it's more enjoyable for me around here. But yeah, was surprised by how much I've enjoyed the 918 here on Gran Turismo 7, given quite how old the car is and how many games I've already driven it in. So there we go, that is going to do it for a first look at the 918 Spyder here on Gran Turismo 7, the first of the 3 cars from the most recent update. So do let me know which of the other 2 you'd like me to take a look at next. because I'd love to take a look at both the Silhouette Skyline and the classic Maserati, I think the third car is. But for a first look at the 918, that is going to be all. I did find I was quite surprised by how much I like this car. I've just realised the brake calipers have gone red. So, now that I've fixed that, let's continue where I left off. As I was saying, I was surprised by how much I enjoyed this thing, given I've played with this car on so many other games. But do go and give it a go if you've written it off for that reason, because there are quite a number of options. It drives really nicely, and it is just a good car that I've kind of forgotten about because it's been around for so long now. But I do rather like this thing. Going into this, I wasn't sure what my second favourite of the Holy Trinity was, really, the Porsche or the Ferrari, but I think after this, I prefer this to the LaFerrari, if I'm being honest. But anyway, there we go. That is going to do it for today's video, taking a first look at the 918. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with the next video very soon.